I started really listening to music when I was about 10, and I fell in love with music. I've been playing guitar since I was 12 years old. Currently, I probably play 3 or 4 hours a day. Always set aside an hour before I go to bed.
In a world where rock stars often seek the loudest spotlight, where fame is chased with chaos, controversy, and constant reinvention, Lifeson stands apart. Not because he shouted the loudest, but because he spoke the most through silence. His story, quietly profound and deeply human, is one that begins not in arenas or magazine covers, but in a small Canadian town, within the tension between tradition and creativity, and a guitar that would one day change the world of progressive rock. This is not just the journey of a guitarist, it's the portrait of a man who refused to compromise, who stayed true to himself and to his music for over 4 decades. Welcome to Hollywood Bulletin, and today we explore the life, legacy, and quiet revolution of Lifeson. Born Aleksandar Živojinović on August 27, 1953, in Fernie, British Columbia, Canada, Lifeson was the son of Serbian immigrants who carried with them the weight of heritage, the discipline of old-world values, and the hope for a better future. The family soon relocated to Toronto, where Aleksandar grew up in a multicultural neighborhood, speaking Serbian at home and learning English on the streets. Like many first-generation children, he straddled 2 worlds: the structured, expectation-laden realm of his parents, and the open, chaotic promise of the Western world. His father, a machinist, dreamed that Alex would become a doctor, the ultimate immigrant success story. But Alex had different dreams, ones that didn't involve stethoscopes or white coats, but instead 6 strings and the raw power of rock and roll. At just 12 years old, Lifeson discovered the guitar. Inspired by the likes of the Beatles, Cream, and The Who, he found in music a sense of identity, a space of freedom that nothing else provided. It wasn't rebellion for the sake of it. It was self-realization. Music became the language through which he would express everything he couldn't say in words. At St. Patrick's High School, Alex met Geddy, a fellow outsider and son of Holocaust survivors. What began as casual jamming soon grew into a deep musical partnership that would evolve into one of rock's most iconic trios. Their bond wasn't just about shared musical taste, it was about shared experience, shared burden, and a mutual understanding of what it meant to not quite fit in. Despite his father's protests, Alex dropped out of high school at 17. It wasn't recklessness, it was clarity. He knew he wasn't meant for a conventional life. He wasn't choosing music over stability. He was choosing authenticity over expectation. In 1968, along with drummer John Rutsey, he formed a band that would become known as Rush. The early years were far from glamorous. Gritty basement rehearsals, self-funded gigs at local bars, and hauling equipment across snowy Canadian roads, with no record deal and no industry support. But the music spoke. It always did. And when Geddy joined the band, the puzzle was complete. Rush had found its core. In 1974, just after the release of their debut album, Rutsey left due to health issues. That's when Peart entered the picture, a fiercely intelligent and philosophical drummer who would become the lyrical mind of Rush. With Geddy as the voice, Neil as the soul, and Alex as the hands that shaped their sound, Rush became more than a band. They became a force. While the music industry dismissed them as too complex, too cerebral, too anti-mainstream, Rush pushed forward. Albums like Fly By Night, Caress of Steel, and 2112 redefined what rock could be. In particular, 2112, a dystopian concept album, the band released against their label's wishes, proved that Rush didn't just want to make music. They wanted to say something. And through it all, it was Lifeson's guitar that gave Rush its emotional edge. He wasn't about flashy solos or technical fireworks. Instead, he built atmospheres, soundscapes where melody, silence, and emotion met. He used open chords, reverse delays, exotic instruments like the mandola and bouzouki, and subtle effects to turn each song into an experience. Songs like Limelight, The Spirit of Radio, and La Via Strangiato didn't just showcase technical ability, they told stories. His guitar didn't scream, it spoke. And that's what made Alex Lifeson unique. While his bandmates drew much of the spotlight, Alex remained the quiet constant. He appeared in all 20 of Rush's studio albums from 1974 to 2012, an astounding consistency in an industry built on reinvention and replacement. As the band's music evolved through synth-heavy phases, progressive epics, and concept albums, Alex adapted, always finding ways to create space between Geddy's synths and Neil's complex lyrics. He was the bridge between intellect and emotion, never overplaying, always serving the song. As Hollywood Bulletin looks back, it's clear. Without Alex, Rush would not have sounded the same, not even close. Unlike many rock musicians, Alex Lifeson never embraced the excesses of fame. He married his high school sweetheart Charlene in 1975, and they remained together for decades, raising 2 sons. While others spiraled through scandals, divorces, and addiction, Alex stayed grounded. He was fiercely protective of his family, as shown during a 2003 incident in Florida, where he stepped in to defend his son during a misunderstanding at a New Year's Eve party. The altercation made headlines, but to those who knew him, it only revealed his deep sense of loyalty and love. Outside of music, Alex is a man of many passions: golfing, flying small planes, and painting abstract art. He even co-owned the Orbit Room, a Toronto music venue that supported Canada's indie music scene. Through all of it, he kept a low profile. Ask anyone who's worked with him, and they'll describe him as funny, kind, and humble. In an industry obsessed with ego, Alex Lifeson remained refreshingly real. When Rush was finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013, many fans felt it was long overdue. And true to form, Alex's acceptance speech didn't follow the script. He simply repeated the words blah 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 for over 3 minutes, each time with a different tone, mocking the pomp and pretense of an industry that had ignored them for decades. It was hilarious, poignant, and entirely Lifeson, a statement made with humor and meaning without ever raising his voice. After the death of Neil Peart in 2020, Rush officially ended. Many assumed Alex Lifeson would disappear from music entirely. For a while he did. He focused on family, travel, painting, and healing. But in 2021, something new emerged. Not a solo album, but a collaborative project called Envy of None. Partnering with Andy Curran, vocalist Maya Wynn, and producer Alfio Annabellini, the band explored ambient alternative textures, far removed from Rush's sound. Yet Lifeson's fingerprints were unmistakable, sparse, atmospheric, emotionally raw. He wasn't trying to replicate the past, he was expressing a new chapter. The project's second album, Stygian Waves, released in 2025, further expanded that vision. In interviews, Alex said he no longer thought about audience expectations. He wrote music for himself, for what needed to be said. That's the mark of a true artist, not driven by charts or critics, but by inner necessity. He still records quietly in his home studio in Canada, occasionally participating in charity and community projects, always staying connected to his roots. Today, in his 70s, Alex Lifeson stands as a model of what a musician can be: dedicated, evolving, and entirely authentic. While many of his contemporaries chase relevance, Alex continues to live with dignity, creating only when the art calls. He doesn't tour. He doesn't chase headlines. He doesn't need to. Because his music already lives on, in headphones and hearts and in history. In a world where guitarists often measure greatness by speed or showmanship, Alex Lifeson offers something deeper. His riffs in Tom Sawyer, Free Will, and Xanadu aren't just parts of a song. They're emotions made audible. His solos are not just moments of flair, they are stories. Artists like John Petrucci, Steven Wilson, and Paul Gilbert have all cited him as a quiet influence. A reminder that impact doesn't have to be loud to be lasting. Alex Lifeson never tried to become a legend, and that's precisely why he became one. He didn't chase fame, he built meaning. He didn't follow trends, he followed feeling. And in doing so, he left behind one of the most quietly powerful legacies in modern music. His story proves that even in a noisy world, there is still space for quiet. And sometimes it is that very quiet that echoes the longest. Thank you for joining us on Hollywood Bulletin for this deep dive into the life and legacy of Alex Lifeson. If you enjoyed this story and want more powerful journeys of the world's greatest artists, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay inspired, stay curious, and stay tuned.